Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, post-Hurricane Maria dredging helped reduce flood impact on the weekend. A call for a paradigm shift in early childhood education, and shooting in Salisbury leaves one young man dead. The details coming up.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Reginald Austry expressing relief that no life was lost during a weekend marked by significant flooding, particularly in the north of the country. Mr. Austry was part of a team making the rounds on the weekend, assessing the impact of the flood waters. Austry told DBS Radio dredging operations undertaken by government played a key role in mitigating the impact of the weekend's floods by limiting damage to property and preventing loss of life. Following Hurricane Maria, government through Dominic Strong has taken aggressive measures to ensure certain rivers and ravines in vulnerable communities were dredged. Austry says the Douglas Charles Airport was open for business by 7 a.m. Sunday morning, but prior to that, heavy flooding made it difficult for commuters traversing the area. One driver seemed to have decided to take his chances, a very risky move in such deep waters. Calibishi also experienced quite a bit of flooding. This young man is wading through water almost waist high.
I saw a landslide just in front of my house there, so the road is blocked completely. Right in front of the house. Okay? So when you take the corner, coming from the police station, coming into Calibishi, that's blocked there.
According to the Deputy Prime Minister, while last weekend's rains and flooding could have resulted in undesirable outcomes, the country has been able to bounce back much faster, in part due to the dredging works done post-Maria and the road crews which were proactive in dealing with the issues as they arose. The Deputy Prime Minister says going forward, dredging works will be undertaken in a number of areas in the north of the island. Very little detail on a tragic shooting in Salisbury on Monday. 21-year-old Tyrone Jolly of Salisbury was shot and killed in the early hours of Monday morning. Police say Tyrone was found at his home lying in a pool of blood. DNO has reported that this shooting appears to have been robbery-related, but Channel 5 News has not been able to independently confirm this. Speaking on DBS Lunchtime News, MP for Salisbury Honorable Hector John spoke out against such incidents. The Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Fisheries has committed to working with the Ministry of Education to introduce agriculture to the early childhood program. That's according to Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Reginald Thomas. Thomas says teaching agriculture to the young ones is a sure way of guaranteeing food security and developing a resilient agriculture sector.
The Ministry of Agriculture has articulated in many of its activities that the very young, that we need to engage the very young in our programs as it relates to development of agriculture and building resilience. We would like to partner with the Ministry of Education to increase agriculture at the schools level, beginning with the very young. We'll provide technical support, and where we can plan together, we'll provide and make the resources of the ministry available to the Ministry of Education in making this program or developing a very effective schools program.
Dr. Thomas says data released by the Ministry of Health show alarming trends of obesity among young people, and steps must be taken to combat these figures.
Statistics from the Ministry of Health show some troubling trends. It suggests that the prevalence of overweight and obese children between 0 to 9 rose from 9% in 2000 to 12% in 2009. It is also estimated that 24.9% of adolescents 13 to 15 are overweight and 9.1% obese. We need to take stock of the foods that we feed our children. The responsibility is not only on the responsibility lies primarily on the parents, but also within the school system, the kind of policies that are established to ensure and to encourage the use of this local, or the use of local food.
Government invests over $6 million in making sure tourist attraction sites, including the city of Roseau, are ready for the newly started 2018-2019 cruise season. This is in addition to the contribution of the Dominica Hotel and Tourism Association in preparing the country for the 189 anticipated cruise calls. Cruise visits are regarded as a critical contributor to economic activity in Dominica and is one of the most impactful sectors of the tourism industry. Because of this, the DHTA and other stakeholders continue to lobby for increased cruise calls to the island. The DHTA says following Hurricane Maria last year, Dominica received 34 out of the 219 anticipated cruise calls for the 2017-2018 cruise season. This was described as an unwelcome shock to vendors, taxi operators and other small businesses. DHTA Executive Vice President Kelvin Francis says stakeholders understand the value of these visitors to the country. Francis says what is needed now is for other sector members to get a better understanding of the advantages of cruise tourism to small island states like Dominica. Assistant Education Officer in the Early Childhood Development sector is calling for a paradigm shift in how early childhood education is being delivered.
Vida George made the remarks during the National Early Childhood Development Symposium on Monday. George says, going forward, teachers must look at how to mold the children into becoming active learners.
There needs to be a shift from the simple coloring and circling of adult work to teaching our children to be active learners in preparation for lifelong learning. I will continue to say it until I see a real shift in the paradigm across the country, not just at some centers. Parents, it is your responsibility to ensure that the talents of your child or children are being nurtured at the preschool years. So the next time you enter your child's preschool, look for your child's work and see if it is really your child's work or the work of an adult.
George also called for the creation of stimulation hubs at health centers to help with the more holistic development of young children.
I also called for a revisitation of the way in which we socialize our children as it relates to gender. Who washes the dishes and who does the gardening at home? The third call was for the establishment of stimulation centers at our health centers to assist with the holistic assessment and development of our children, especially in light of our roving caregivers program. The question now is, where are we in relation to any of these? The second question is more personal. What have I done in relation to these points, and what is my role going forward as it relates to these points?
Monday's symposium, which was held under the theme, My Love, My Home, My Dominica, Building a Resilient Nation Beginning at Early Childhood, saw several teachers and preschools being awarded for their long service to the early childhood development sector. Among the awardees were Gail Roll with 34 years of service, Tracy Roll, who served for 38 years. The Canefield Social Center Preschool was awarded for 47 years in the business, while Charlotte's Nursery Preschool is celebrating 50 years in existence. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You are watching Channel 5 News. More after this.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps là ou kane sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au poison et que tant ki ka vini avec maladie. Servi yon condom chaque fois ou kane sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Pour responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
The Ministry of Education is placing special focus on building a resilient early childhood education sector. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education Chandler Hyacinth says in the country's quest to build back better, the ministry is placing emphasis not just on resilient infrastructure, but also on resilient human resource capacity at the early childhood level.
So what does resilience at early childhood look like? What do we mean when we speak of resilience beginning at early childhood? In simple terms, resilience means bouncing back, getting up, brushing up oneself, going again, and or using prerequisite skills to stop a fall and or to cushion the impact of a fall. So we can safely say that we want to teach our children from an early age how to minimize the impact and how to bounce back in the face of adversities, and to develop in a positive way when they face setbacks.
Hyacinth pointed out that Dominica's strategy is in keeping with the wider regional plan of the Caribbean community, CARICOM.
I want to mention some points that the CARICOM region are promoting in an effort to guarantee that our children from an early age are resilient. A few strategies to help build resilience in the early childhood sector. Firstly, opportunities. Daily opportunities for activities. Secondly, children should be given opportunities to resolve their differences amicably without the immediate intervention of adults. Let us teach them from a very young age how to solve their problems. If they begin from that age, they will be able to deal with bigger issues that will confront them as they grow older.
November is being observed as Early Childhood Development Month. And Dominica observes Remembrance Day over the weekend. His Excellency Charles Salisbury and other government officials laid wreaths at the cenotaph in memory of those who gave their lives in World Wars I and II. The descendants of those who sacrificed their lives are also present to pay their respects. His Excellency Charles Salisbury, accompanied by the President of the Dominica Legion, inspected the contingent of ex-servicemen and women of the Dominica Legion. Parading units were also on hand for the march past, as is done each year at this time. On parade were the Government Band, Dominica Legion Contingent, Dominica Cadet Corps, Fire and Ambulance Service, Dominica State Prison, Dominica Youth Corps, Dominica Scouts Association and Cubs, Girl Guides Association, Dominica Red Cross and Girls Brigade. Remembrance Day is a memorial day observed in Commonwealth nations since the end of the First World War to remember the members of their armed forces who died in the line of duty.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Post-Hurricane Maria dredging helped reduce flood impact on the weekend. a call for a paradigm shift in early childhood education, and a shooting in Salisbury leaves one young man dead. Feel free to contact us at news@mapin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.